Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of March 15th through the 21st. And during that time, we bring in the waning crescent from last week, and that's a time of stability and calm, a time for us to be thoughtful and a little self-reflective as we think about how we want to grow when it comes to things we might want to start on the new moon, because that comes up on the 19th. So, of course, that's about a fresh start, new beginning, good time to learn new skills or start new projects. That could be inner or outer, depending on what you're working on, or just make new decisions. So we then have the waxing crescent, and that's a time of heightened senses, a good time to really buckle down and work on those things that we've just decided to work on, and also to plan and start to just fix things and just kind of make those adjustments. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Aquarius. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that your hard work is paying off. Alrighty, let's see what the Aquarian collective has going on for the week. And as I'm shuffling the tarot cards, my fun weekly reminder for you is that you try to really notice the synchronicities that are out in the world this week. So this might be an animal that you encounter that you don't always see, maybe a repeating number pattern, or maybe a song that you hear on the radio. You know, there's sometimes when I'm flipping through, if I'm flipping through the dial, and you know how you hear kind of a little snippet of a song, and sometimes you'll hear just a few little words of a song, and it's like, oh, well, that's interesting because that's something I needed to hear today, or something I was kind of had a question in my mind, and that kind of is an answer to that question. So that is what I mean when it comes to the synchronicities. Just kind of pay attention to all the little details of the universe around you this week. So all right, I will stop babbling. Let's get into this reading. Aquarius, March 15th through the 21st. Your hard work is paying off. Your present energy right now is the Queen of Pentacles, and that certainly means that your hard work is paying off. You are in an energy of really just understanding the material world, but you know, this means that, you know, probably your bank account's looking pretty good, and your house is clean and organized. Everything's just kind of in its place, and you're in just a really good place where you just feel like you got it together this week. So that's a great energy to start off with here. Your current situation is also the Knight of Wands. So Knight of Wands is about action on the passion front of something that you are very excited about doing. And of course, when we feel good, we get out and we do things that we really enjoy. So, you know, maybe the weather's looking up this week, and let's say you're a runner and you think, oh, it's just going to feel so good to run this week. There's no rain and the sun's out, and it's just the perfect weather for that. So, and it's something you're very passionate about. So, of course, you would go, you know, participate in that. So, think about something like that when you're feeling really good. You know, of course, we do things that we love to do. At the root of your situation this week is the Emperor. So you've probably been very hard at work and are hard at work. And that's good. You've taken on maybe some sort of leadership role, and it's just making you feel like you are accomplishing something and that you are working hard and it is paying off. So, you know, whatever in that realm that you've taken on, where you've taken up being a leader in, you know, and you feel good about it. That's a good feeling, is to feel like you're in control of a thing, and just kind of taking charge. And that, you know, if someone asks you a question, you know what you're talking about. It's a great feeling. So definitely bask in that a little bit this week. In your recent past, here is all these different choices here with the 7 of Cups. So it looks like you've been choosing well. It looks like you've been making the right choices when it comes to your finances, in your material world, maybe even your work world, and maybe even your passion world too. You're just kind of, you know, sometimes you just feel like you have it all together, and I feel like it's just one of those weeks for you that everything's are just smooth sailing and going very well here. What is on your mind this week is the 5 of Swords. So there might be something on your mind from, you know, maybe something happens this week or has happened in your past that you're trying to figure out in your mind, where words were exchanged in maybe a negative way. And maybe you're trying to figure out how to sort all of that out. You're in a really good place right now, but it's almost like, you're having a really good day, and that one thing from that thing you said creeps in, that little insecurity, like, I can't believe I said that, or someone said this thing to me, and it's kind of just sticking in there, right? So that's kind of on your mind. Make sure you're finding tools. If you're ruminating, if you find your mind, even when you're really happy, if you find your mind that's going back to that thing, then you might need to just take a little bit of time to address it. Really think about, if it's something someone else has said to you, really think about, why is it bothering you? Do that alchemy work where you kind of go back through time. How did it make you feel? And then you go back through time, and when is the first time I felt like that? That's typically where that core wound is. There is a lot of information about healing core wounds like that, and alchemy work that you would do for your emotional well-being. So that might be something to work on. And that's also part of the hard work. So, just whatever that is, make sure, if you're coming back to it over and over, just make sure you're managing it and you find ways to deal with it so that you're not doing that next week. What is just ahead of you this week is the star card, and this is about you being just on course and going in the right direction. This is you, you know, following the signs of the universe and just being exactly where you're supposed to be. This is a card of, hope and clarity, and prosperity as well. So this is you, almost like things are written in the stars, and whatever's going on for you, it does seem like things are working out for you in that position, to kind of just be following your course, like you're just on the right path right now. And that's a great place to be. In your advice position is the Fool card. So you may want to be thinking about a new journey. You may want to, maybe there's something that is happening in this maybe leadership role, or something that you're taking on here, that it is hard work, and someone might even start tapping you for, hey, let's do a little bit more hard work. Do you want to take on this new journey? So if that, and that's the advice to me, says yes. If someone approaches you with something like that, or something comes up, of course, isn't this the card of Aquarius that you guys are all about, saying yes to the new journey and the new thing? So that's a positive to me. Go ahead and go ahead and say yes to that. What is beyond your control this week is the World card, which I love this card because it's perfect balance, it's unity. It's actually the end of the major arcana. So where the Fool is the beginning, the World is the end card. And this could be something where, it's just beyond your control to kind of move through this journey in a very rapid way so that you do reach a place of perfect balance. So that's kind of, to me, a positive way of saying, yeah, this is a good new journey for you. This feels right, right? What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is the 10 of Swords. So I do think you're trying to bury these swords over here. And I think you're trying to be done with this. So again, this is either something that was said to you, or something you said back, or some kind of exchange that maybe you've just been managing, some sort of conflict somewhere. This could be within a relationship or a friendship, or someone at work, or this family. This could be so many different things, but there's been kind of a tension there, and exchange of words, and you're ready to be done with it. I think that's your secret desire. I don't think anyone's trying to avoid being done with something like that, but maybe you are, because you're just not sure how to manage it. So once again, reach out, look online just to find out about how to alchemize, how to deal with rumination. If it's something you're thinking about a lot, you just need to manage it and deal with it, and you can go about your happy life. In your outcome position here is, look at you feeling very satisfied and very happy with yourself. And of course you do, because things are in order. I mean, I think the one thing is, whatever this lingering past, these words that were said, they're just kind of lingering, and they're in there. And I think once you manage and deal with those, that, yeah, you're able to start off on this new journey, and it's going to, you're going to end up in this perfect balance place. You just got to work on that just a little bit, right? All right, what is hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck is really thinking about the future here with the Two of Wands. So you're kind of in the present moment and dealing with things that are happening right now, or maybe in the recent past, where maybe your eyes should be a little bit more on the future. Instead of thinking about these words from the past, be thinking about what you can learn here so that you move on to a more positive future, Aquarius. So let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message from the Soul Oracle deck for Aquarius, March 15th through the 21st. Refine your attention. Interesting. refine your attention, especially when it comes to what is creeping in there. And I don't know if you meditate, Aquarius, but if you can learn how to meditate and quiet your mind, and if these thoughts are coming in, you need to learn how to just observe the thought, and just that's a really good exercise. So if you can find a guided meditation somewhere about just observing your thoughts, they tend to start being less distracting for you. So, all right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self care. Self care for Aquarius this week. And the card that comes up for you is the card called Space. The quality of your life has more to do with what you remove from your life than what you add to it. Give yourself the gift of space. Interesting. That's very true also. What are you removing? Does that improve the quality of your life? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's just that spring clean, right? Get rid of the out with the old, and maybe even not even in with the new. Just out with the old, and that just let that stay for a little bit. So that's a good feeling. Aquarius, good luck with all of this. I wish you the best of luck. If you are comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below with anything about this reading. If there's anything that resonated with you and you want to comment on it, I'd be happy to hear what your comments might be. Or if you have questions, I can answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is something I really appreciate. And thank you so much for doing for me. That is just a gift from you to me. And I appreciate that so much. So thanks so much, Aquarius. Good luck with this. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.